Stand by. Okay, there we go, and we are live. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the great pleasure this evening to be sitting with Alfie Best, and this evening is the launch of the Alfie Best Business Network. Now, currently, we've invited a number of entrepreneurs to come online and to share an experience this evening with Alfie. We'll be broadcasting for about 40 minutes, and Alfie will be kicking off the webinar, talking a bit about business in general, entrepreneurship, why we're facing difficulties. I know it's rhetorical with the coronavirus, but of course, Alfie is one of these fellas that, apart from being hugely successful, always turns problems and challenges into opportunities. And what he wanted to do was to bring business owners together in a real setting where we could create a trusted network of business owners, not just in the UK, but around the world, where we could create something that was real, where we could refer business, where we could talk about best practices, where we could become something more than what we're currently facing. And we are, as entrepreneurs, we know that inside each of us, you know, when we experience pain and adversity, we have to find a way. But let me welcome you to the first of the Alfie Best Business Network, and let me formally introduce Alfie to you. Alfie is the chairman of Crest Parks. Crest Parks has some 75 parks, I think closer to 80 now, operating something, has something like 13,500 residents here in the UK. And Alfie also has park home estates in the USA, with business interests and property interests in the USA, Barbados, UK, and Europe. And his companies are quite diversified, from import and export companies to sports companies to motorhome companies, as well as park home companies, property training companies. He's a very experienced man. He's listed in the Sunday Times Rich List, and he's a really down-to-earth guy. So for me, I'd love to say thanks to Alfie for putting aside the time. I know right now you are flat out as always. So panel, we're going to ask Alfie now to share where we're at currently in the business climate, what we need to do as entrepreneurs, and how perhaps we can come together. And after that, Alfie's going to invite in 4 or 5 people that's going to talk about their businesses for 3 or 4 minutes each. But once Alfie does the introduction, everybody will get a chance to introduce who they are. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, and every 3 times a week now on the Alfie Best Business Network, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Mondays at 9:30, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 1 p.m. we are doing exactly the same thing. So if you're watching right now and you want to be a part of this panel, and you're an entrepreneur, even an aspiring entrepreneur, you can register and join with us and be part of the next broadcast, which is on Friday, because together we are stronger and united. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me pass you to the incredible Alfie Best. I'll have my head down in the screen now. Ladies and gents, Mr. Alfie Best.
Well, with a build up like that, I really don't know where to start. Okay, look, we are in extremely uncharted territories. I think that would be putting it mildly. To be fair, in our lifetime, did we ever dream that anything like this was going to happen? And to be fair, I certainly didn't. I'll be brutally blunt, like somebody's just completely just turned the tap off. But there are businesses out there that are thriving, absolutely thriving beyond belief, whether it be hand sanitizers, whether it be mask manufacturers, whether it be shops for the necessary needs, whether it be for the transport of those, whether it be for the delivery companies that are doing it. There are businesses that are thriving, you know, but if you're caught up, and I've got several businesses that are caught up within the sector where, unfortunately, they've been punished, and they've been punished because of the coronavirus, you know, because we've got to have the separation distance, we've got to have the mask, we've got to have the hand sanitizer. And, you know, I'm going to be very, very honest with you. This is not going to be a short-term fix. If anybody believes they're just going to turn the tap on in a couple of weeks' time, in my opinion, you're wildly mistaken. This is going to take a year, and I mean it's going to take a year. I believe that we have a 3-month first lockdown, 2 months further to go. I think then after that, the government will bring in, and they will stage um, bringing back the lockdown. So in other words, it will be open air builders will come back first, with separation distances being adhered to and that type of thing. Then there'll be another sector of businesses and they'll slowly integrate it. But the financial meltdown of this is going to be horrifying. And businesses that were just meandering along will go. There's no question about it. And I think I could quite easily try and flannel over it and say, oh, we're going to do great and we're going to do this. That's not going to happen unless you make it happen. And it is possible to succeed and it is possible to thrive in this market, but it means also adapting your business. Now, we've been punished as a mobile home park operator. We're Europe's largest mobile home park operator. I've got customers waiting to move in homes. The factories have been shut and the transport companies are not delivering those homes because they're also caught up in that. So the government have acted very well in this circumstances, but they've also acted on a knee-jerk reaction very quickly. And a lot of businesses have been punished, what in my opinion didn't need punishing. For instance, transport of homes from a factory where could have been dealt with completely in isolation and delivered completely in isolation. There's no reasons to stop those businesses actually functioning. If you think of the housing sector, you know, you're not allowed to exchange on any houses unless they're vacant. Well, for me, I didn't get that, but I think, and I'm guessing the reason for it is they didn't want interaction with people being shown around houses. Well, we overcome that by doing 3D virtual tours. And if anybody wanted to see a home, we actually put hand sanitizer with masks and the home was left open for them. Then when they came out, we would then debrief the home completely with chemicals and start again. And believe it or not, last month we sold 14 homes. I'm talking about in March. And the lockdown started, I think, on the 10th or the 15th. So that's astonishing. This month, we've still sold 4 homes. Now, this is only through doing virtual tours. That's not what we would normally sell. Normally, we sell 30 homes in a month, regular as clockwork. So for us, no, we're not going to just accept that we have to close up shop. We are going to adhere to what the government guidelines are, but we are going to be able to work our businesses as best we can. You know, we're not caught up with, like, I own several golf clubs and they've been shut, just shut. Now, that I don't get, again, because golf would be one of the surely easiest leisure actions where somebody can play golf on their own, and actually is no different than going for a walk in a park. But again, knee-jerk reaction, shut, because they're frightened of people not adhering to the rules as they should be. But look, going on to business as a whole, there is going to be some fantastic opportunities. Those opportunities are out there for us to make good on. I was asked a question yesterday. What do you do when you've scaled your business down, as in you've furloughed people that are within your business, and you're at a point where you still don't have the cash reserves to hold you over? Well, is it a point where you have to let people go? And the answer to that is yes. The business must always come first, because you are better off losing 10 people but saving 20 people's jobs than what you are trying to save 30 people and losing the whole company and everybody loses their job. This is a time for real decisions. But moving forward, the most important thing, and the reason for this network and why I felt that it was important that we started to build a network of people, forward-thinking people, that were going to not take this laying down, was so we could network with trusted people that are in business to do business, even in this climate. I think we've got hand sanitizer manufacturer here as well. Now, for me, if I was out there selling hand sanitizer at this moment in time, I wouldn't be looking for, you know, famine or feast. I would be looking to tie my customers in for a longer term. And I want, as opposed to say, you know, hand sanitizer goes through the roof. I actually think for the right companies, they're going to be able to tie a lot more companies in on contract for 12 months and 24 months by keeping them at a fair level rate of price, but knowing they've got them for longer, building their company. So if they got to the point where they wanted to do an IPO, they could, because they've built a solid base, as opposed to using the term they've made as much hay while the sun was shining. I think we will come out of this, there's no question about it. But it will take time. It'll take, I believe, 12 months, because even after the lockdown and they've, you know, semi-released it and we've got back, and it takes 6 months to get back into it, we're going to be in a terrible downturn, a terrible recession. I saw a news article, I'm sure you must have seen it all today, on Sky News, saying that this is going to be the worst recession since the 1920s. Now, to be fair, that's just what we really need to hear, isn't it? And it's, even if it wasn't, it's cementing it in our mind that how bad it is. So people already assume, you know, I don't look at that type of news and think, oh my God, the world's going to crumble around me. I look there and think, my God, there's going to be an awful lot of opportunities, because in every recession, businesses thrive. And if your business isn't thriving, you've got to be doing business with the businesses that are thriving. You know, like we've had some real fantastic stories of different manufacturers, from JCB that stopped manufacturing plant and started manufacturing defibrillators. You know, like there's many, I think, McLaren, I think there was the clothing manufacturer. They've all started now manufacturing masks. So they're turning their business to actually stay afloat. Not what they do, but it's about needs, must. And there was an old saying that says to me, have to is a massive master. And if you have to do something, that is your master. Your master's to do it. In the bit, like I've got another company called Varun, which is the UK's second largest motorhome hire company. Now, that business shut. We weren't prepared to shut. We weren't prepared. I just wasn't going to take that. So what we did, we reinvented our sales team. And we now have our sales team ringing every outside building construction company that is still working, and do they need isolation units in the shape of motorhomes. We're ringing up to the NHSS and we are giving them 50% discount, but do they need homes for people to be able to come out of the hospital to rest? And we're trying to find other avenues. This is not a case here where we are going to lay down, and nobody has to lay down. Just open your mind on the business that you have and how you can make that business work, not in this climate, in the substance we've been given, because this climate isn't going to last forever. It isn't going to last forever. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to be spending 12 months worth of reserves and just completely hoping it's going to get better. It's going to go back to how it was. Without me being crude, think of this COVID-19 as your ex-wife that's left you. You can hope she's going to come back.
Which one?
but you've got COVID-19. So we have to deal with that. Not what was. This is what we have. This is what we have to deal with. Now, I'm going to say something very, very radical. I believe the government got it wrong. And what I believe should have happened is everybody should have been allowed to carry on work as per normal. But everybody had to wear a uniform. And that uniform was exactly the same as what the doctors and nurses had to wear. You had to wear a Hessian COVID-19 suit, you had to wear the mask, and you had to wear the visor if you wanted to go to work. And it wasn't just for the people that had it, and it wasn't just for the people that didn't have it. Actually, you were protecting both because you were concealed in that. And there would have been a £2,500 fine in place for anybody that wasn't wearing that outside their own property, because that would have restricted it, that would have contained it, and people, I think, would have adhered to that. I certainly would have done. I'd have rather had my business running that everybody contained within that. Okay, that's my view, and I'm sure we've all got our view about it. But going back to our network of people that we have here, this is so important. We make our businesses thrive. And I want to ask a number of questions, and I want to ask it about the different businesses that you've got. So if you've got any questions, can you please fire them over to me about your business, because it's really important that everybody gets to hear what they are, and I'll give you my view. It might not necessarily be right, but it'll be a view, and it'll be an honest view of what I would do if I was in that business. Has anybody got any questions coming forward?
So as you guys are putting the questions in to Alfie, what I want to do, keep your questions, and I'll pick those off as we've got them on the screen. Now, we keep looking down at the laptop and we forget that the camera's over there. So do forgive us, because we also want to see you guys and look at you guys, but our webcam's up there. So we'll try and keep looking up. Let's bring Russ in first of all. Russell's someone that I've known for a long while. He has been working in India. Actually, Russ, you can tell the story. It's a cosmetics company which is now adapted. So, Russell, please do unmute yourself, introduce yourself, where you come from, and obviously say hello to Alfie. Where are you? Russ has not only he's actually kicked himself out, and he's clicked. There you go. Come on, Russ. Let's get you unmuted. There you go, sir.
Oh, right. Yeah,
right. So, can you hear him?
How are you, Russell? You all right?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can everybody else hear Russell?
I hope not.
Yeah, we've got thumbs up. Yes, everybody can, Russell. Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. Thanks for inviting me on, Brad. Nice to meet you, Alfie.
Pleasure's all mine, Russell.
Basically, we are predominantly a private label manufacturer for perfume, fragrance, and for lifestyle products. We service a lot of the UK high street retailers. We private label for Dorothy Perkins, Ann Summers, Debenhams. They're the sort of people that we work with. We also do a core line of fragrances and lifestyle products for Aldi, for Superdrug. The perfume shop have just taken on a vegan range that we've been working over the last year as well. That was meant to launch in March, but obviously with what's happened, that's not come out. So that's our sort of like background. Obviously, about sort of 4 weeks ago, we had one inquiry for hand sanitizer, and we have a manufacturing plant both in the UK and in the Far East. We got the first inquiry through, and rather than sort of try and turn everything around, what we tried to do was we tried to make sure that we could adapt to the circumstances. And from that, in the last 4 weeks, I think we've got around 60 to 90 containers on the water. We've also had, hold on one moment, we've also had an air freight consignment that has been picked up for the post office. And from our existing client base with people like Aldi, Superdrug and Amazon, at the moment what we're trying to do is we're trying to source our own sort of like products so that we can start manufacturing this as soon as possible. But secondly, to make sure that, you know, there's a longevity in what we're trying to do. We've always been someone that we work on small margins, but we work on sort of large volumes as well. So in terms of what we're trying to do, it's not boom or bust for us. We see this as, you know, a potential for us to move forward in an industry where it's pretty related. We spent over $100,000 in the last 4 weeks on certification, on the, you know, correct testing and everything else. So in terms of the product that we've got, we know that it stands up. It's going into the NHS and to some of the other sectors, so we wouldn't be trying to do this and put our own product out there and put our name on something that we knew that wasn't going to stand up.
And Russell, can I ask you a question? Russell, can I ask you a question?
Yes, certainly.
Sorry. And going forward, like you've just said, you're not boom or bust. You're looking for long term, which is, listen, for me is the echelon of a good business, good entrepreneur that's thinking of a solid business and not looking for like a 7-day, you know, sunshine's great. But what I was going to ask you was this: in the long term, do you think there'll be a culture change? And I'm thinking about throughout the world, where hand sanitizer will be paired up as like with a perfume as well. So, like for instance, now I go to the office, I carry hand sanitizer in the car. I've got hand sanitizer at home, hand sanitizer in the office, everywhere. Whereas obviously we know that people use perfume. Do you think there will be a morph of the two, where that will be a longevity?
Ooh.
I think from the
what do you mean, a mixture between a perfume and a perfume sanitizer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, listen, coming out of this, we are all going to be a lot more skeptical. We are not just going to go back.
Is that something you've just come up with?
Well, yeah, no, we're talking about the entrepreneurial. This is something that businesses will do.
I like that.
What's your view, Russell? Sorry.
Are you talking about a fragrance sanitizer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already looked into it. You have to be a bit careful with the fragrance sanitizer because of the chemicals that go in it and the fragrances that you give off. Now, a lot of the ingredients that are in there are subject to be able to be fragranced. However, at the moment, because of the alcohol content, you just have to be a little bit careful with how you put that together. In terms of the sort of perfume sanitizer, there are very, very few people at the moment doing it because at the moment, a lot of these companies that we're dealing with aren't necessarily buying it for retail. They're buying it for their own staffing. So
yes.
where at the moment we've got, you know, we've got a very good relationship with Aldi and their forecast for the next 6 months. So as you were talking about earlier on, you know, they're looking at taking a certain quantity every month for the next 6 months. I had a conference call today with the guys at Amazon as well. And what we're doing with those guys is that's not necessarily going on to their retail. That's obviously going to bulk buyers of wholesalers that they use as well. So at the moment, the people that we're sort of dealing with aren't really, they are looking at it as from a retail perspective, but at the moment there's a greater need for it elsewhere. I'm not to say that I'm not being flippant like that. I'm just saying that the sort of stage is what they're at. At the moment, if we can service the, you know, the people like, you know, the Royal Mail, the NHS and those guys that are on the front line at the moment, then I think, as you say, probably in 6 to 12 months, that's when you'll sort of see the fragrant stuff coming out, more of it going into the retail. People educating themselves into personal hygiene at the moment, I think, you know, is we're in unprecedented times. I don't particularly like that word, but, you know, that's about the only word that I can describe where we're at the moment.
Well, I think unprecedented is like the best word for it, because I've got to be honest with you, I never dreamed in my life we'd ever see anything like this. Let's be honest, it's like we're in a movie. It's like, you know, it's like the living dead, forgive me for saying it. You know, you walk down some streets now or drive down some streets, they are empty. You know, so like, I know we see a lot on the news about where people are being crammed in. I've got to be honest with you, a lot of people that I've seen are adhering to what the government guidelines are, which I think is a good thing.
So fantastic, Russ. Listen, thanks for coming on. Do stay with us, Russ. Ladies and gents, if you're looking to buy hand sanitizer, one of the things about the Alfie Best Network is we're referring business to each other. Now, you may be sitting at home thinking, well, what can a hand sanitizer supply company actually do for me? I don't really have any interest. But trust me, within your network of business owners, you know they may be looking to secure an order. So what you do is you reach out to Russ, you set yourself up a little commission with Russ, a little kickback, and then you go to work and give Russ direct referrals and you'll get paid. Okay, this is where we get business moving. For Russ, please do stay with us. Make sure we've got your contact details where everyone can reach you.
Can I just add something? And I think this is really important. And don't think for 1 minute I'm rubbing Russell's back, because we've never met Russell. But I think it is so refreshing that all of a sudden one business, they are not in the hand sanitizer. They got somebody contact them and they realized they needed to change their modus operandi of how their business operates to make sure they're functioning. And I've just said, I don't know the first thing about hand sanitizing or perfume, but I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, how could you take it further? And he said, well, we've already looked at that and it is going to be something down the line, but where his finger is on the pulse. So these are the people that are thinking ahead of their game. And I've got to be honest with you, to me, I'm refreshed, because everybody I've been speaking to have just been giving me the negative, constant, instead of being with it. We're not here to fail. We're here to succeed no matter what gets thrown at you. That's my view anyway. Russell, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you.
Yeah, beautiful, Russ. And obviously, let's stay connected, Russ, because after we started talking about hand sanitizer, even I've jumped into a few of the groups that I know to say, look, I've got a supplier hand sanitizer. It's 6 weeks delivery out of India. So this is what the network's all about. This is where we look beyond the pain that we're experiencing by trying to get something else going, another energy, so that we can control as best we can and consolidate our businesses. Some will have to hibernate, some are just ticking along, some experiencing heavy losses, but by cross-pollinating it can change your energy just like that. Talking of energy, we've got an incredible lady online right now. Her name is Karen Whitelaw Smith. She is the author of a book called The Butterfly Experience. Now, she's a transformational specialist and she's trained and worked all over the world with some incredible people. Karen, I'd love to bring you in, because there is a mindset, there is a faith, there is something that the deepest, we have to dig into the deepest depths of our soul, of our courage and our strength to find that motivation to keep getting up and fighting the fight. As Alfie says to me, Brad, get up, you show up, you dress up and you execute. But of course, there's a mindset that goes with that, Karen, and deep down inside people are struggling. Please do come in, say hello to Alfie, tell everybody what you do. I've known you around 15 years. You're an incredibly talented lady and intuitive, and I know that you work with a lot of high profile stars confidentially. You work with a lot of personalities off of Britain's Got Talent. I know that I can say that, but the rest is confidential. But ladies and gentlemen, an introduction, just unmute yourself. Karen knows how to use Zoom. Karen, say hello to Alfie, introduce yourself to the group and what you do.
Hi, Karen.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Bradley, and thank you, Alfie, for having me on. This is really, before the COVID-19 came, I just had a very strong feeling that something really very, very serious was going to happen in the world. Never for a second did I think it would be like this, but I've felt this for a very long time, that the world has been very complacent in how we are living our lives, and everything is out external from us. And I think there's no more time when we are all being forced, and I think the word is forced, to go within ourselves to find out who we really, really are. And it's making us show up in a far better way to be a better person. Everybody's lining the streets at 8 o'clock to thank the co-workers and everybody in the front line. Before, you would have never even got that. People are really thinking about what it means to be living in this world. I trained for 4 years in clinical hypnotherapy, and I specialized in the cancer field. And I've worked with every different type of cancer patient. And I was going to go down the route of working with cancer specialists to help them to train their minds to think in a different way, instead of just giving the chemotherapies and radiotherapies. Because I believe we create our disease and illness, unless it's a trauma or drugs or abuse or alcohol, then we create our own diseases. So if we create, we have to then find a solution for that. And my mother always said that for every problem in the world that you come across, there is a solution. You just have to access it. Yeah. And for me, I was the one that always would go that extra mile to find that solution, no matter how long it took me. And I think we're being forced to look at our lives at the moment, our businesses, the way we're living our lives, the way we're carrying on with our business, and thinking, you know, just get more clients, make more money, and everything's fine. And, you know, as Alfie was saying, it's the long term that you need to be thinking about. You know, my daughter, she's a top fashion designer in London, headhunted constantly. And it's a Japanese company took over the company. And she's now on the 80% government. And she said to me, that's unacceptable, Mum. What would you do? And I said, you know what I would do? I said, why would you accept to just have part of your salary? Start working in your mind to have your full salary. And yesterday she was contacted by email out the blue of somebody who said, we got your name. Would you like to do work for us? So she's being paid her full salary. It makes up her full salary by the work that she's actually going to be doing for the next few months on graphic, working from home. And well, it's really looking, sorry.
If I can add something to that, what we have found in our industry is the furlough doesn't allow anybody to work to even help the business, which I don't agree with. I understand why the government have done it, because they don't want the people taking furlough that don't need it. So I get that. But what we've seen and what we've advised a number of companies to do is cross-trade. So if their employees want to go and help that company who's part of their network, they should be doing it. And we're actually advising companies to do that. When they call me, I say, well, that's not illegal. It's not against the furlough rules. You can go and, you know, as long as you're not paid for it, you can go and do it. But then you can then get your full salary. So, you know, I'll go back to you. Sorry, Karen.
It's okay. That's okay. She's checked with her employers, and they're quite happy for her to do it.
Yeah.
But I think very much that everything is a mindset in life, and everything you do. I'm an Aries, and I'm a very driven person. I will seek till I find the solution for something. I will just. There's no negotiation that it can't work out. It will work out, and I'll find a way to make it work out. But people just now are, you know, they're focusing their mind on fear and worry and listening to the news, and their mind is on all these emotional stuff that's going on. I'm very aware of what's going on in the world, but I'm taking the precautions, the safety, washing, going out to the shopping and back, taking my dog a walk and back. But I'm 100% still working from home, working with people, and there's never more set than just now when people are needing to be coached, because what's coming up for them is like, what if they can't get their clients? What if things stop? So therefore, personal development, you know, there's a thing I believe that so many people in personal development think it's cool to do personal development. And it's now become a world where we're all learning, and nobody's really implementing or taking action. Fear stops too many people, and there only is the 1% who actually will take and go past that. The rest are just always learning and never actually implementing, because it takes a lot to train your mind to go past your fear, or to embrace your fears, or to know that your fears are there for a reason, for a safety zone. So, you know, for me just now, I'm very aware of what's going on, but energy is one of my things that, you know, if I look at a person, I can tell their energy, I can tell what they're like. I could tell their whole life, I could tell the past, their present, and that's just my gift. And it's sad to see so many people that are not moving forward and that are being held back by COVID-19. And that to me is just an excuse, because COVID-19, whether it's COVID-19 or whether it's something else, in the past 20 years, they're always going to be doing something, always going to be starting their business.
But if I could just very quickly interrupt, what I would say to you is, though, all of us, me included, we're creatures of habit. So we get up, we go to work, you know, and success is built on good habits. You know, if you don't get up and brush your teeth, that will become a bad habit, and you'll end up with rotten teeth. You know, brushing your teeth every morning is a good habit. So, but the thing is, we've now got to change the way that we work in effect to make those habits work. For like, how do I'm trying to find the words to put this better across, but we've got to find different ways of doing our job that comply within how the government want us to be. Now, you know, the thing that I don't like is that the government has said we're on a lockdown, but we don't really have anything past that. We don't have anything, you know, what is the policy to get us out of this? And I know I don't expect them to wave a magic wand. I really don't, because trust me, they're only human beings. You know, let's have it right. Boris caught COVID-19, so they're only human. And they're doing, and I think they've done a fantastic job so far. They've come out very positive. You know, for me, hats off to them. They're not giving it the happy clappy. They are really trying. But what they're not doing is putting a regime in to say to people, you know, we have got this ahead. At the minute, we're looking at a blank wall, and we're not seeing past that blank wall because they're not telling us. So that's more of a reason why we've got to make our businesses work. And we've got to make our businesses work personally and in business. We've got to make sure that we're doing that, in my view anyway. Sorry, Karen.
Totally agree. Karen, just another 30 seconds or so, just to type so we can move forward.
Yeah, I think like Alfie said there, you know, and I think very much that we have to be aware of the safety things that we're doing and putting plans into place. But I think we have to start planning for the future, even although this might be around for some time. We can't just sit and wait in the instructions to come to us. We have to put in place what we want ourselves, because what we think is what we create. And if the world can raise the vibration by thinking positive, it can actually flatten this virus. You know, I asked the virus to reveal itself to me, and it was the most peculiar picture that went down my street. It was like a germ that went down my street, and I said, show me what you can do. And it says I can mutate into 2, and it got to the end of my street, and I thought, I wonder which way it'll go, and it said I can go both ways. And I thought, they're actually dealing with a virus that can actually mutate and keep magnetizing, and that's why it's so strong, and that's why it's continuing and rearing its head and coming back. And I think it will keep doing that for up to a year. I definitely think this is a long term, as Alfie said.
Beautiful. Sorry, I'm listening on a 4-second delay on my phone, and Alfie's got the earphones in. Sorry, Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen White Law Smith. Do look her up. Look up the book, The Butterfly Experience. Actually saved my mum's life for sure, that book. Karen is an incredible lady, works in highly confidential situations with some very affluential people. And I absolutely trust this lady. Now, before we go to the next person, I just want you to be thinking about the business network. I want you to be thinking about the value that's in this very small room right now. You've got people trading in India, back to the UK and overseas. You've got financial specialists online in Canada. We have people online in the UK. We've got nurses online. We have people online that's all involved in property and property development and well-being. We've got a couple of people that we can't say especially what they do because they're under certain non-disclosure about the work that they do, whether that be government or military. So we have to be very, very careful about that. But what we want to do is we want to think about business, because, you know, we can trade together and we can refer business together. Sometimes in tough climates, and if you think about what's going to happen now, is people are going to start valuing the things that they once threw away. And the wombles, the wombles of Wimbledon, wombling free. And what they used to do is they used to go around collecting other people's rubbish to make stuff. We've lived in a throwaway culture, a wasteful culture. Can you imagine what will happen when things start to dry up? How much would you value the things that you've got? How much would you realize that some of the things you bought don't mean anything and you don't need them? So when things are really tight financially and physical cash isn't flowing, are there things that you can do for each other to support each other. Of course, somebody might be a web developer, somebody else might need coaching and training. Then you cross-pollinate and barter your skills. You may not trade money in this time. Keep yourself busy, cross-pollinate, give and receive a service together, a fair trade of value. Also trade financially as well, because we must make sure that finances, where possible, are coming forward.
Can I just add to that as well? This has also opened my eyes up to how many companies with, and we're a fairly large company, and I'm talking about insurance companies and those types of companies that I've been trading with, of the pound of meat and flesh that they were taking off of us, whereas actually now, you know, they're more susceptible to cutting back, and we're being approached much more by other insurance companies to cut back on costs. So not only this is a great time to reevaluate the business as well, to know whether you're riding. And I love the phrase, I'd rather ride a champion donkey than a lame racehorse, because a winner's always going to be a winner, doesn't matter what it is. That's my view.
And just quickly, we had a question come in live online, and we're going to go to the next speaker in a second. And obviously, thanks to Alfie for taking this time. And ladies and gentlemen, you're now meeting Alfie Best personally. Alfie Best, if you're just joining us, is the chairman of Wild Crest Parks. Is a very, very successful businessman in the UK, Barbados, America, and Europe. And this is the Alfie Best Business Network. If you want to be part of our network and you want to show your business online and you want to be part of the network, which we're, you know, small pebbles into a pond can send ripples out. We've got people on from different countries around the world, just £10 a week. We're broadcasting Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays during the coronavirus to bring you business owners together so that you can network, so you can connect, so you can collaborate, you can share, and you can grow together within a trusted network. And when people go offline, they'll be networking together. So if you're watching and you're an entrepreneur, go to alfiebestpropertygrowth.com/business network after this broadcast. We'd love to have you and hear about your business. But a gentleman has said online, we were going to sell out t-shirts online, but the supplies are shut. So this one is a good one for me, because I have a textile manufacturing, import and export background. Look, there are going to be people on LinkedIn that are the managing directors of t-shirt wholesalers in the UK. If it were me, I'd be reaching out to a director directly through email on LinkedIn, or reaching out to a connection to ask someone to refer you. I would find a way to ask that director to open up in a safe environment. If it's essential to go to work, it's essential stuff. If your life depended on it, if your family depended on you delivering an income, or it meant no food on the table, you'd find a way. That's what I'd do. I'd communicate with the managing director via LinkedIn. I'd speak to him and say, can you please help me? I want to get some t-shirts. Arrange a safe environment with yourselves masked up with distance. They can leave them outside the building. You can make a transaction. You can make it happen. And then all you've got to do is get them embroidered or get them printed, and speaking to someone who is having to operate. If the NHS gowns are being manufactured, the NHS embroidery is going on the right-hand chest, do you understand? Or the labels are being manufactured for the NHS, it means those essential businesses are open. So for the t-shirt point of view, and yes, I thought about that myself, you can make it work. So let's now move to the next person that we'd love to bring into this conversation. But just before we do, there's a question been asked of Alfie from Mark Stevenson on how do you deal with people's perceptions of fear so you can still maintain normal levels of efficiency?
Okay, you're the person that takes away their fear. Their fear, forgive me for saying it, is theirs. It isn't yours. And don't let their fear start to consume you. But in this climate, and I say this, make sure of who you're dealing with. Make sure that that company is paying you, can pay you in this climate, because you're going to really find out who's swimming with no underwear in this climate. And let me tell you, the people that are out there that are, and the reason again for this network is I want people to be able to come on that are real, trusted. That's why we want everybody's camera on. I want to know, and I want this network to grow, and I want those people to be able to trade with each other, knowing these are people that are really trying. Because, sorry, I've gone off track a little bit there, but I just couldn't help. I'm forgive me, I'm
Perception.
extremely passionate at this moment in time of businesses that want to succeed. So don't let somebody else's fear override you, and you should be the saddle that's keeping them in the horse and keeping them in the race. So give them the reasons, you know, whatever your benefits are to your company, and give them the reason to want to pay you and part with their money to you.
You know, and I got to share this with you as well. And this is something that's personal because, you know, about 2.5 weeks ago, I fell into a garden bed, and on my left-hand side here, I cracked one rib. I didn't know at the time I'd broken one. I've actually got a dent like a golf ball in my chest here, and actually moving about and still now moving about is difficult, and I'm still clicking. But actually, even with a busted rib, you can move about. And Alfie gave me a call a couple of days back and said, Brad, look, you know, come on, how we doing? How are you? And always checks up on me every single day without fail. We call a message, but he never fails to ring me. How are you? What's happening? And although my ribs were hurting, he actually gave me a kick up the butt, you know. And then from that, we're back in the saddle and we're flowing. But actually, something I wanted to say to Alfie was, who actually helps you? Because you're the daddy, right, of everything you do. So where do you get your strength from?
Listen, just because you come from the gutter doesn't mean you need to stay there. And the truth of the matter is, I have come from the gutter, but I sure as hell don't want to go back there. It smells.
All right, incredible. Let's also bring on the next introduction. I want to bring in Hussain, but I also want to bring in a couple of other people as well. So what we want to try and do is just 3 minutes a person now. Hussain is the owner of a company which is called Happy Cabs, based in Chelmsford in Essex. Run about 100 car fleet. Now he experienced nearly a 90% drop in his revenue. And Umar, there he is. Umar, introduce yourself. Say hello to Alfie, which you've met previously, and tell Alfie and share with Alfie and all the business network where your business is at, what you've been doing to keep everything afloat.
How are you,
Umar? Hello, Alfie. Hello, Brad. How you doing?
Good,
Good, thank you. What it was actually, it was a surprise when the obviously news came out. My business took a 90% drop straight away. But funny enough, a few weeks before, I spoke to a London taxi operator, and he said their business is suffering because nobody's going out because due to coronavirus. And I was looking at my turnover and thinking, hang on, we haven't been affected. But suddenly, like 10 days later, we've been affected. So what's happened is, obviously, we don't do no school contracts now. Restaurants are closed. We used to have some NHS contract work. That's been closed off as well because we were transporting patients for operations and stuff. But due to COVID-19, they've actually cancelled a lot of patients' operations and stuff. And also, we rely on commuters and everything like that. So all our bookings have gone down. So what we did is we actually changed our business around a little bit just to keep our drivers going. Firstly, we cut down on our expenses. My first week, I made a loss of about $9,000. Obviously, because my business just took a 90% drop. But good job, I didn't have anything on finance. And what I did was I brought my cost down. I brought my cost down in total to £1,000 a week I'm losing, right, through my reserves. But I am finding more ways to cut my losses. And at the same time, we've actually seen that what businesses are busy at the moment. The restaurant, takeaways are busy at the moment. Courier companies are busy at the moment. So what we did is we rang up these companies and said, look, we can deliver for you guys and everything like that. So we managed to speak with Hermes. That's going to be starting from next week. So we've got that. And at the same time, we've done some partnership with restaurants that the ones who'd never done deliveries before and who were closed, we actually get hold of them and say, look, you can open up, we'll do deliveries for you. And we'll just do it on social media share. And it's been a good response, actually, but we're just still working on things, one thing with us is sorry.
What I was going to say was that you're a cab firm, and you would assume straight away that's going to be one of the worst hit types of commuters aren't going out, they're not taking cabs.
That's it.
But you're now finding different revenue streams, different lines, and you're actually helping those businesses. Like, Jesus Christ, the restaurant trade and the pub trade, my heart bleeds for them. But again, by forward thinking, and you're contacting different restaurants, we all still want to dine in those restaurants if we can, and we can afford to do so if we can. Then you're helping those restaurants, but you're also keeping your business functioning. It's about finding those new revenue streams and businesses working together to be able to do that.
That's it, yeah. So that's what we've done so far. We've also had a good response on Click and Collect, where we said to people that we can pick up their prescriptions, we can pick up their food from Tesco's because they can't get any Click and Collect slots at the moment. So we can collect that. So our response has been great. And to be honest, it's worked very well so far. Obviously, we're just looking at other ways of getting more revenue coming in, just to keep the drivers going. I mean, we've got, just to get the company afloat.
I got arrested last night, and the police officer took me away and put me in the cell. This is true. He put me in the cell for 12 hours. He came to let me back out this morning, and I said, "You're not letting me back out." He said, "Why is that?" I said, "You try living with my girlfriend for 7 days." I'm only kidding. I'm only joking. I needed a cab. I needed a cab then desperately.
Listen, I'm slightly delayed this end. Umar has saying everybody happy cabs, airport runs, covering pretty much all the Essex area. Do connect with him. He's a very successful businessman, but also he's very, very well known in the Asian community, not just here, not just in Pakistan, but he's got relatives and connections all over the world that are involved in property, that are involved in business, that are involved in land. So this is about connectivity. Let's move on. I'm conscious of time. Umar, thank you. Really, really incredible. I want to just get a quick view of somebody that's listen. We're going to get Gareth Hughes on and Natalie on as well. David, can I just ask you to turn your camera on, please? David Meyer is a former hedge fund manager in Canada. David, if you're still with us, can I just ask you to start your video and come online? So while we wait, there we go. David, you'll need to unmute yourself. I'd like you to introduce yourself to Alfie. Your previous corporate career was in hedge fund management in Canada. You're a very well-connected man in the upper echelons, in the affluent circles, business owners in Canada. In fact, we had a great call last night, and thank you for that. Please fire away, David Meyer from Canada. Introduce yourself, say hi to Alfie. And let's find out a little bit about what's happening in Canada and what your thoughts are on the financial markets and the financial situation, not just in Canada, but perhaps from a global perspective. All in about 3 minutes, sir.
David, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. My signal's a bit poor. Are you getting me okay?
Getting you put loud and clear. Can everybody else hear David? Yeah, we've got the thumbs up here, David.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Listen, I have a signal that kind of comes and goes. So and listen, thanks Bradley for putting me through. You probably saw my note. I was trying to let you know I had to get off quick. But listen, I'll give you a quick summary. Yeah, as Bradley said, I was a former hedge fund manager, investment banker, and I actually gave a little. I did a similar one of these things in Canada about a week ago. Sort of a business group that was looking for, small business group that was looking for ideas about, what to do with this virus, etc. And I came at it from the, the hedge fund side, from the investor side. I basically was telling them, what your investors are looking for, because I kind of agree with Alfie there. Who knows how long this thing's going to go, right? And there's going to be business that are wiped right out, and you don't want to be one of those. You don't want to be one of those, but for sure you're going to have to go back to your investors and your bankers. That's going to happen, and I was coming at it from I'm a business strategist and a business coach and a mindset coach, and I was talking to them about make sure that you can express your new strategy clearly to your investors and bankers, because it's going to be tough. You're going to have to understand where you are in your market, you know, to be able to prove to these guys that you're worth staying invested in. You know, kind of all bets are off. And you know, as I say, the communication is the important thing, but really just, you may have to go out and find new people, new investors. You know, that's maybe what you're going to have to be doing, is finding a whole new network. And I think that that's why I think that I was really impressed with Bradley putting this thing together, because I think that that's where small business is going to go. You're going to have some new networks of people you can trust, you know, finding new relationships. And I 100% agree with Bradley. You got to get out there and talk to lots of people, talk to lots of new people, make some new relationships, and make sure you can explain what you're trying to do with your business. And also kind of be nimble. You know, you may have to switch what you're doing, change what your business is doing, or maybe get into another business. It's a you know, a generational kind of experience here, right? So
look, we're in new uncharted territory. But let me ask you a question. Where do you think some of these, and I'm talking about from market investments, how do you feel? Because they're real people as well. And sometimes they'll want to be jumping ship from one to another, out of one investment into another investment. But the truth of the matter is, they're not going to be able to get out of their investment, I wouldn't have thought. What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's the case. I mean, but listen, everybody's got their kind of, you know, everybody's got their role to play, right? Everybody's got their business that they're in, right? And you know, they're big boys, right? I mean, you know, if they're invested in you and they're invested in other things, yeah, they may have challenges, and they'll let you know, or maybe they won't let you know, but that's where the empathy comes in, right? You got to understand what these guys do for a living and what kind of challenges they face, and it's all about the massaging the relationships, right? I mean,
100%. I completely agree with that, and I actually believe that this is a golden opportunity, and I really genuinely believe this. And I put my money where my mouth is, where I'm concerned, because we've bought 4 acquisitions in the last 3 weeks, and we will continue to do that. Luckily, and you know, with the good grace of God, we're in a blessed position to be able to do it. But I don't think there is going to be any better opportunity that's ever going to present itself in our lifetime to invest, especially into businesses and into bricks and mortar and property, in my view.
David, listen, thank you. We're going to need to roll on because we've got people that is about to jump off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Meyer from Canada.
Brad, I was just going to mention one quick thing before I head off. Yeah, look, I agree with Alfie. I think it's a real generational thing. You know, you have to have a bit of a sense of destiny here. You know, that's some of the stuff that I do work on with mindset, with my coaching. Is, you know, like this is a once in a generation thing, and you got to view it as that, and you got to believe that you're you know, you're a player and you can stay in it, and you deserve to be there, and you know, you've got a long-term plan. That's the name of the game.
Yeah. David, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you very, very much for coming on. Look, speaking to you again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm slightly delayed here, my ear by about 6 seconds, and I can't hear what you guys are, so I'm slightly delayed. David, we're going to talk again. We spoke last night about this connection for Canada. Thank you for coming on. Please do stay with us if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Bailey and mum and daughter team, Natalie Bailey and Paula Bailey, are ladies involved in the property sector. They've currently got a 30-unit development awaiting planning permission. That they're going to renovate, turn around and flip, develop, etc., to create a community. On the other side of that, they also have a sort of confidence business as well, confidence coaching. They're also columnists within the Best Property Business magazine. So we want to just come to Nat first of all. I know you're pressed for time and you've got your own webinar. So Nat, you're in isolation. You've come back from Spain to be in the UK. You're coaching people on confidence and unlocking, you know, the ability for them to really lead their life to a full potential. But you're also very serious property investors. So Natalie and Paula, please do unlock yourselves. Of course, you know, Alfie, you've also interviewed him live at head office, which is an incredible podcast. You've also been to our events where you both got dressed up as the best girls with the caps on, and you're almost like our sort of feature models now, you two. So Nat, fire away first of all, because I know you're tight on time, and then we'll go to Mum.
Yeah, thank you. No, honestly, thank you for having us and putting this together. It's really nice to meet some other people, and also like being a part of this. This is just proving our message of better together, and how the fact that people need people, and especially in times of trouble, that you need people even more. And whilst you might not be together physically, we're able to be together virtually. So that's really important, just being able to come together and help each other as much as possible. So obviously we have the development, which Mum will be able to talk to you more about, because she's been absolutely phenomenal on that side of things and creating community there. But in terms of like the confidence coaching, the podcast, putting that out there, it's all about building confidence and resilience, not just through this period of time, but that will help you out on the other side. It's not just getting through the next 90 days, it's building up something that's going to get you through the 3 months after that, that's going to give you then so much more power to go through and build something bigger and better that you ever thought that you could ever have had before. So people that were kind of just going along thinking, oh, I'm doing all right, this is proven even to me and to Mum and like to people that we know, it's actually there's so much more that can be done and that you can be doing, and you can build more confidence and more resilience and do more stuff. And it's not just about property, it's about where your mind's at. And if you're not looking for opportunity, and it's not about cashing in on a crisis, it's about looking for opportunity, but how you can help people through this time as well. So provided that you are putting out a good service of value and you're still providing good value, then I think you should still be doing everything that you can to sell. Like we've just sold out of our Gold Star brands on Amazon. Our sales have just gone through the roof. So now what I'm thinking is, what I can't get stock in for a month. What are people not going to want now? What do they want in a month?
Yeah. Can I just say something though, Natalie? You used the word. It's about us not cashing in on a crisis.
Yeah.
You know, recessions are only crises for people that don't want to push themselves. I've been in that situation where, as you well know, collapsed across the desk at 20, nearly lost everything. But you know something? You're either going to learn or you're going to pay. And we're not cashing in, we're benefiting from it. So don't be frightened of those words of saying, are we cashing in on it? Yeah, we fucking will. You know, because we're here to do it and everybody else wants to sit there and really just not even try. We're going to try and we're going to make it happen. In my view, anyway. Sorry about the language, by the way.
It's that phraseology, though. It's that phraseology. It's using the right terminology so that people don't go, oh, so you're cashing in on a crisis. And do you know what? Yeah, if I'm going to make money, I'm going to make money anyway. I'm going to make money whether the world's going to shit or whether the world isn't.
Yep. Definitely.
And that's the mindset.
How are you, Paula? You all right?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Good to see you again.
Pleasure's always mine.
Thank you. As Natalie said, this is about survival as well. It's about us keeping going for what we can do, whether it's our own sanity and for the business, and obviously wanting a viable business the other side of it. But it's supporting and helping other people as much as we can. We are in this together. That's the whole better together message. It's always been about that. And people need people. It's creating, and making communities work.
Yeah, which is why I'm running the webinar that I am in 11 minutes.
So we've got you for 11 minutes. Can I just add something? And this is, look, we can talk about figures and stat sheets and how our chart should be, but I'll use the cliche that I've been using all through this. We're in uncharted territory. I swear this to you. Today, I got up and I thought, right, what am I doing today? I'm going to work and I'm going to go and lay some concrete bases. And that's what I was doing today. I went out, got stuck in laying concrete bases. Now, I haven't laid a concrete base for a long time, but I didn't do a bad job.
No, you laid bases about 5 months ago. About 4 or 5 months
Yes,
ago.
that's true. I was. Yes. But let me.
Did a long time ago.
Yeah, but it felt like a long time ago. My arms aching, my shoulders aching. But I put it out on, just a little bit of social media. Oh, I can't believe I'm laying some bases as a bit of a laugh and joke. I had 3 people contact me and say, I'm not working. I want to be doing something. Yeah. And I was like so taken back that people are now, even at this early stage, reaching out, realizing, I'm sorry, I've got to work. Mm. And because they contacted me, out of the 3, 2 of them, I gave them a job doing something.
No one's coming to save them.
No,
I've had a couple of people as well say, they're either on call or they've been furloughed, but they want to do something, and they just sat there at home. They're on their own and they're bored. Yeah. So they need something to do. People need purpose. People need a reason why. They need a reason to get out of bed. They need a reason to go and give something back to the world. And even if that is just, going to do a job to make money to eat, that's what people need. And that's what people don't have at the moment. That's the bit that's missing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So anybody that's watching this, if this carries on after, come and join my webinar because I'll help you through it.
All right, so I don't know whether you guys have finished there, but we've literally got 9 minutes left on this broadcast. Nat's got to jump off now. Listen, if I have cut in or I'm being rude across anyone, then I apologise profusely. Natalie Bailey, Paula Bailey, amazing mother and daughter team. Good luck with the continued application and planning, and that's going to come through soon for your 30-unit development. Do connect with these ladies. They're very well connected. They're most beautiful people, and they are energizer bunnies, both of them for sure. We want to go down a serious route now. We want to talk a little bit about businesses. Fortunately, a few years ago, I had the great privilege to interview a guy called Brad Sugars. Brad Sugars owns a company called Action Coach, which operates, I think, around about 80 countries right now around the world. Now, Brad Sugars is in Las Vegas. Alfie and Brad Sugars got together and had a private Zoom conversation, and they were talking about the COVID-19 crisis 6 weeks ago together, about what the impact was going to be and how bad it was going to be. And I think actually when I was listening to these 2 guys say, yes, it's going to be terrible, this is worse than what you think, I actually think they both didn't realise that what they say, and although they thought it to be true, the reality of coming true has been, is it the same as what they thought or even worse? But anyway, we've got an incredible guy now, Gareth Hughes, who is an Action Coach franchise owner. What makes Gareth Hughes very interesting is this gentleman is former Royal Air Force. He's ATC, Air Traffic Control. He's been out and spent time in the sandbox. So this man has lived and breathed inside the war zones. Now he took the transformation of coming out of the Royal Air Force and decided to take a franchise with Action Coach. We gave up a lot of his military comfort and the guaranteed wages, went out on his own, invested in himself, started a business franchise, and outside of that, started to build his clients. And then, of course, as soon as coronavirus happened, bang, pain, a real blow to the ribs. But, we've spoken for a lot of time about Gareth focusing on helping people that are coming out of the forces, ex-forces, military and services when they're going into a business. But let me introduce you now to Gareth Hughes. He's Action Coach based in Swindon, Wiltshire, up that way. Gareth, say hi to Alfie, as you know.
Hi, Gareth,
tell us a little bit about where you're at. And again, let's ask Alfie a question.
Hey, Alfie. Yeah, good to see you again.
Pleasure.
Yeah, look, I think I agree with a lot of what's been said tonight, and there's only one way that people are going to come out of this, and that is to sell your way out of it. You've got to keep selling, keep marketing. And, I know I saw something a few days ago, which was, it's easy to spot a yellow car when you're thinking about yellow cars. In the same vein, it's easy to spot opportunities when you're thinking about opportunities. And I think that's what people have to start thinking about. And look, people are still buying. People who are saying, they're not buying or anything like that, people are still buying. People love to buy stuff. We all love to buy stuff. We get a little hit serotonin, of you know, when we hit the pay button or the go to the checkout or something, people love to buy it. So that, and they still are, you know. So I think selling your way out of it is the only way to do it. I'm telling all my clients, keep marketing. Make sure you're on the marketing. You got to change your message. Absolutely, you change your message, because what you're marketing now isn't what you were marketing 3 months ago, won't be what you're marketing in 3 months' time. So you got to have compassion in there. Right now, you got to have compassion. But I also think in your marketing, when you're talking to potential customers or employees, I think we can all afford to be a bit more positive in our message, in whatever we're doing, because, you know, I know it's going to be a while and it's going to take time, but people can see a way out right now. 2 or 3 weeks ago, they couldn't see a way out. Now they can. And I think for that reason, we can afford to be a lot more positive in where we're going. And I just want to relate one story that came to me from my time in the forces. And I was on a leadership course, and it was 6 weeks of just getting absolutely thrashed and beasted around the Brecon Beacons. You know, we were cold, wet, hungry, tired. We had done all sorts, dirty. And it got to the end of the 6 weeks exercise. We got taken into a hut, and we had to put together an IKEA table. Right, an IKEA table, and the instructor said, right, 2 teams, you've got 20 minutes, go. Right, now you can't put together an IKEA table in 20 minutes. It always takes longer than that.
I was going to say I would have failed.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. And I was leading one of the teams, so I felt responsible for this. And anyway, my team, we got really close. We just had a few nuts and bolts left to go, and the instructors came over and kicked the table, and it all fell apart, right? And we only had a few minutes left. We had, like, you know, 2 or 3 minutes left, and a lot of people in the team sat back and put their head in their hands, and they were finished. And 1 or 2 of us, or in fact, 4, you know, I think about 3 of us went, right, let's go back in, and we started putting the table together again, right? The 3 of us that did that were the only ones to pass the course. And it taught me a massive lesson. You know, when everything is against you, when everybody is against you, and it all seems hopeless, get back in and go again. And I think that was just a huge lesson that stood me in good stead then, at war, and now in business.
I was on, if I can add something, I was on a very small television program, and there was about 5 entrepreneurs and business people, and there is a lot of difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. A businessman is a specialist at what he does. An entrepreneur takes himself to different sectors of different businesses. This one was different entrepreneurs and some different business people. And what they said to us, we had to get from point A to point B and fill our shopping cart up and get back to point A in the quickest fashion possible. But the aisles were taped off. So you had to go all the way around the store. So I'm there with my trolley that, you know, everybody else is there. And I'm not saying that I was a genius or anything.
Was Dale Winton? Was this the Dale Winton?
No, it wasn't Dale Winton. It wasn't Dale Winton. So we're all looking at it and we're all analysing, obviously, what's the quick? Is it left? Is it right? Is it straight? Is it? And they said go. So I just tore the tape and walked straight through and loaded it and came back. So everybody else went left and right. This is absolutely true. Went left and went right. And I thought I was going to get disbarred. I genuinely thought they were going to get out, because I was doing it as a bit of a joke as well. I wasn't doing it to be clever. But I won. Because they didn't actually say to us, you can't do this. What they said was, you need to get from point A to point B in the quickest point. Yeah. So, but that learned me a lesson. It is, you don't have to do what you see. Look beyond it.
100%.
Definitely, and
100%.
I think I developed a huge mindset of, okay, this is what the rules say. What are the rules not saying? I can follow the rules. Okay, how can I twist it? How can I bend it? And I think I work with businesses up to 12 million turnover is the largest one at the moment, and I can tell the ones who are entrepreneurs and the ones who are business owners, because the business owners own a job, not a business. The entrepreneurs own a business, and it works without them. And that's what I'm all about, creating a profitable enterprise that works without you, because otherwise you just own a job. And if you own a job, go and get a job, because it's easier. But if you want to own a business and be an entrepreneur, that's a different conversation we can have.
In my business, and if I can just refer to somebody who's here, with Peter Burns, who works with in our industry, and he's a specialist at what he does. And I'd love to speak to you, Peter, before we end here, if that's okay with you. But again, in Peter's business, I would think he's had the legs cut off and then they've stopped most transport. But we have got to find ways around this, because we have got to be able to carry on doing trade and business. And that's a real hard one as well, when the government are saying no. But and that completely takes the legs away from it. But we've got to find a way, and we'll come to that in a moment.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, Gareth Hughes, action coach, do connect up with him. He's one of our trusted inner circle members. He's an incredible coach, incredible guy as well, and having a military background. He's also now about to really transform himself with something new that he's looking at. I wish you the best of luck with that, Gareth. You're an incredible guy.
Good luck,
I'm
Gareth.
very, very conscious of time now, and I know that Alfie wants to get Pete on. So 60 seconds, very, very quickly, please. 60 seconds in and out, because we're pretty much on time now, and Alfie's got another meeting he's got to get to. Luke Grundy, unmute yourself. Luke is a 19-year-old young man. He's recently joined the Alfie Best Advanced Property Academy. The Alfie Best Advanced Property Academy is where we coach and train our members on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday nights about Park Home, Holiday Park, and the Park Home operations, how you can essentially own a Park Home, how you can grow a Park Home business, Holiday Park business, and on Thursdays, bricks and mortar, residential and commercial properties. Some people just are involved in the property training, the bricks and mortar. Other people are involved in the Park Home training and the bricks and mortar residential commercial training, because they want to get the best of both worlds. Luke is 19 years of age. He's currently working in the recruitment sector. He's also doing some other stuff outside of his furloughed hours to get more money coming in. He's the youngest member to currently join Alfie Best Academy, Property Academy, and now he's also online tonight. So Luke, introduce yourself, why you're here, and explain a little bit about what we've been talking about entrepreneurship and how you want to grow under Alfie's tutelage.
Hi Luke, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. You all right?
Good.
Yeah, so obviously my name's Luke, and I was working sort of in recruitment and in the estate agency business. Then obviously I got furloughed, and my mate dropped me a message saying I just basically come work at Tesco. So starting at about five in the morning, finishing at about 3, like sort of stacking the shelves, filling up the lorries for the deliveries, just start to get some money in.
Can I just add something there and say,
yeah, sure.
Credit to you.
Well,
full credit. No, full credit to you. It's because you'll find a way. Full credit to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. And I first heard about Alfie. In short, it was his son, Alfie Jr. I was filling up at the petrol station, and I saw a 21-year-old get out of a Ferrari Portofino. So I went up to him, and I was just sort of, I was like, do you want me to ask, what do you do for a living? I basically got him on Instagram, and then I saw Alfie, dropped Alfie a message. And then he basically gave me Bradley's phone number, and I found out, so obviously when people are extremely successful, they obviously don't have a lot of time to sort of coach. And then when Bradley told me about the Alfie Best sort of Property Growth Academy, I was like, this is too good to be true. And I've sort of watched quite a lot of podcasts about Alfie and his success journey, and it was one of those things where obviously I am only 19, so I don't have a lot of experience, but it kind of spoke to me. And sort of in this like day and age, you're either kind of going to go down the corporate route, which I was told at college, school, just do it. But then I've kind of seen the sort of entrepreneurial life and the mindset, and I believe that I've got quite a lot of drive to do something I want. So I signed up to the Property Growth Academy, and I haven't been in it for very long, but I've loved every second of it. And I think just sort of in this time, it shows that like Alfie, the academy is still working, and obviously it is a pretty bad time for everybody. But like everyone said this evening, it is like no matter what happens, we are stronger together. Like the point of this networking, and we will find a way. And yeah, just like to say thank you to Alfie as well for the academy.
No. Well, thank you. I don't want to go on to the academy too much or talk about it, but what I will say to you is I can't wave a magic wand and make things happen. But what I can do is sharpen the tools that you've got. And as long as you've got the drive to make it happen, you know, if somebody like me can fulfill their dreams, and I'm still fulfilling them, anybody can, because I'm an idiot, a complete idiot. Please, there's no specialness about me. All I'm doing is I make sure that I have to work harder than most other people because they're a lot smarter than me. But the truth of the matter is, I'll put the effort in where they won't, and that's what makes success.
Yeah.
And listen, well done, Luke. We're very, very tight on time. They've literally just got a few minutes left, and before Pete comes on, and we'll let Pete end up this first webinar with Alfie Best talking together. I just want to say thank you to Grania Kelly for coming on. We've not been able to get you to speak tonight, but it would have been lovely for you to talk to us. You're in the nursing arena. What you represent is nurses on the forefront, putting themselves absolutely at risk for people and caring for people as well. You're a registered nurse and you're also a carer as well. So our hearts and love go out to you from an NHS point of view.
Can I just say something? Thank you. Because if it's not for people like you, trust me, you're the kings and queens and you don't get enough credit. And I say that not because it's the thing to say. I say it because I mean it. You are the kings and queens that don't get enough credit for it. And they don't get paid enough at any time. And when I see these idiots, never forget about the coronavirus, that are being disrespectful and rude to doctors and nurses that are trying to look after them because they're drunk, my God, they actually should be disbarred from hospitals. That's just how I feel. But I want to just say thank you.
And Grania, listen, just unmute your microphone and just so Alfie can hear you say hello and thank you, because that would be the best thing. Go on, Grania.
I didn't see that. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate your kind gestures. Thanks very much.
Okay, super, fabulous. Right, now we're going to move into the next discussion. Mark, I think we need to make sure that we're fairly confidential about what you do. Is there a question you want to ask Alfie? If there is, put your thumb up, Mark. You're comfortable? You've got a question you want to ask Alfie? Unmute yourself and ask Alfie the question, Mark.
Okay, hi Alfie, nice to see you again.
How are you, Mark? Pleasure.
Yeah, good. You're good, thanks. With the number of businesses you've got going at the moment, Alfie, how do you keep your finger on the pulse with all those businesses, with all the issues that you've currently got?
I run my businesses via a cash flow. Every single business gets sent over to me once a week on a different day that I have a cash flow. That cash flow runs on a monthly basis. I'm not interested in profit and loss. I look at those at management meetings. What I'm interested in is seeing how the business itself and what it needs on a daily basis to survive. And if they can't give me their figures of what they need to survive, I've got the wrong people in that business. And it is as blunt as that. Because if they can't tell me that simple question, there's something seriously wrong. And I do check the figures, but I like simplistic, simple, straightforward answers. I don't want people to flannel me. I'll give you an instance. If I'm dealing with anybody and I want them to ring me, any of our suppliers, anything, if there's a problem, ring me, because things do slip through the net. Things do go wrong. But do you know something? We're only going to learn by actually taking on negatives in a business so we can turn them to positives.
Fantastic. And listen, is Mark still talking so I can't hear him? No. Mark, all good?
Yeah.
All good. Thanks. Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark, thank you. Sorry, I'm 6 seconds delayed. I do apologise, sir. Mark Stevenson, an incredible man, very talented. And actually, from a DIY point of view, if you want to see some of the work that Mark's done within his houses that he's developed, it's off the charts crazy. Perfectionist, beautiful work in the landscaping, the kitchens. You're a real man of all trades. Let's now go to our next individual. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, this is Alfie Best, founder of Wild Crest Park stocks. He's an entrepreneur. He's listed in the Sunday Times list. He's a very affluential guy. Sorry about the ducks flying over our head. We've got a massive pond and lake just to the left of us where we are.
Oh.
And you can hear the ducks. We apologise about that. And Alfie's residence number is about 13,700. He owns a number of businesses, from sports to hospitality to events to park homes to property to commercial businesses to motorhomes to furniture businesses, and he's always looking for opportunities every single day. This is the launch of the Alfie Best Property Growth, Alfie Best Business Network. I'm so used to saying Alfie Best Property Growth, Alfie Best Business Network, and this is a network that's open up to all businesses during the challenges we're facing with coronavirus. If you'd like to join us online and be part of our panel, then we're broadcasting on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Visit alfiebestpropertygrowth.com /business network. We've had a great panelist line up this evening, including Paula Bailey, including Karen Whitelaw-Smith and Grania Kelly. Mr. Greg Hawkes is online as well, runs a highly successful wood business out there in Wales. And I'd love Alfie to hear about the sleepers, the railway sleepers story. Greg, incredible. Luke Grundy, the youngest member of the Alfie Best Advanced Property Academy. Andrew, I don't know your surname, sir. Perhaps you can post that. Mark Stevenson. Pete Burns is online, about to talk to Alfie now. The incredible Gareth Hughes. Umar Hussain from Happy Cabs. Russell is online as well, who is an importer and manufacturer of hand sanitizer. We've covered a broad range and spectrums tonight. So from me, I'm going to say good night, because after Alfie and Pete Burns talk to each other, and there you go, Andrew Budden. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. Perhaps let us know what you do. But for now, two old friends talking together to see us out is Mr. Alfie Best and Peter Burns, everybody. Let's give a round of applause. Come on. Hey!
That's a hell of a build-up, Peter.
It is.
Well, actually, this is the first time we've ever seen each other. Is that correct, Peter?
It is, yeah.
How is this affecting, by the way, if I can just introduce Peter. Peter runs a siting business for park homes, and is, in my opinion, one of the best in the business. Business is going to go a long, long way. I should imagine this has caught you a little bit cold, though, has it not, Peter, or not?
Yeah, it has. I've just been catching up on my vehicles and repairing everything and doing little fiddly jobs and just developing them so they work a lot better in the future, and little tinkers. So I'm saving my money by servicing them. So yeah, just keeping going.
And Peter, and where do you see this? Like in our business, you're obviously there siting and transporting the homes and delivering them on site. Where do you see this? Do you think there's going to be a glut within 3 months, or because we're struggling to get them even out the factories?
Yeah, that's the worst thing. I think people will start having to sell the vans because they're not using them, so they're all crying up in the air. So in my point of view, I'll get the D sites and obviously transport to docks or wherever they end up going, but that's no good for the parks. That's my worry in the future.
Taking forward with the mobile home park industry, and I'm talking about residential and holiday. The problem is everybody, I think there's a lot of holiday operators sitting there thinking, oh my God, when this is over, we're going to have such a glut of people that want a holiday in the UK, and that pent up demand. Well, that really does depend on the economy, in what state it's physically in, and whether people can afford to do that and afford to buy new secondary homes, because it's not cheap to buy a caravan now, is it? Let's be honest, it's 30,000-40,000 pounds.
Yeah. Well, my biggest contracts are in the Lake District, so obviously they're a higher market as well.
Yeah.
And they're struggling to sell them, So that's my worry in the future, because by the time this is over, the season's finished. It's now when we should be selling caravans.
You do twin units as well, though, don't you, Peter?
Yeah. I do the twin units, park homes, lodges.
And Peter, as a company, do we use you for the twin units?
Yeah, I've done some for at Wild Badger's Retreat.
Yeah.
You actually got. We used the crane company as well because nobody else had basically get them on the bases for you.
You did a job what nobody else could do, or let's put it this way: they wanted to take the low hanging fruit. So,
Yeah.
you know, you did a cracking job there for us, and I can't recommend Peter highly enough. And I got to say, next time, Peter, I'd like you to come on earlier, because I want you to give us a real complete open section of what your business is, because there are people here that, you know, if we look down, take out of your mind caravan or mobile home. These park homes now are prefabricated bungalows. Would you agree with that, Peter, or not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate in they are the affordable housing of the future. Now, we're Europe's largest residential park home operator, and I see our business as doubling in size within the next 10 years, maybe even 5.
Yeah, I can see that.
Peter, listen.
It's getting to where it's easier to get them in, because we can do it in 6. Well, I've done up to 6 pieces now. I've done a basically 70-foot home in 6 pieces.
Yeah.
So they're easy to get onto farms or wherever they're going.
And you cannot believe where these homes are going now. They're going behind people's houses, behind the back of farms. They're going everywhere because people are looking for affordable homes. And I don't mean low quality. These homes are not low quality. They are 5-star homes. And people that use the words that they're downsizing, they're not. They're actually upsizing for less money. But listen, I'm always going to love what I'm doing, because I eat it with a spoon, if that makes sense. Peter, it's been a fantastic having you on. I hope to see you next time, and let's discuss your business more next time we're here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, webinar members, just stand tight for 1 second. We're going to end the broadcast on Facebook, and then we're just going to say thanks to everybody directly from Alfie. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had our incredible first Alfie Best Business Network live broadcast and launch. Now, tonight, these people, these incredible members. These incredible people that's been alive tonight.
I've never seen Bradley turn round so quick.
Yeah. I was hoping it might have been female, given my single circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, so thank you on behalf of Alfie and Alfie Best Network, and of course myself. Thank you for taking this time to join us. If you are a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to be a part of our panel, then simply anybody can join us and be part of this network. What we've done is just put a £10 a week fee in, which just covers our cost, if you like, for pulling this off and bringing it together, and of course Alfie's time. So Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Mondays at 9:30 a.m. we go live to get you booted, suited and motivated during the times of challenging coronavirus, which aren't impossible. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. tonight is our launch night, and then Fridays at 1 p.m. Monday mornings to get you booted, 6 p.m. to reevaluate the week to see what we may not have been able to achieve between the Monday and the Wednesday, but then what we can push on for the Friday, and the Friday at 1:30 before we can close out the week and still got a couple of hours to find a way to pick up business and to hit any targets we need to hit. This group is about referrals. It's about accountability. It's about sharing together, growing together, and actually caring to understand that there's things that I know that Alfie doesn't know. There's things that Alfie knows that I don't know. There's things that each and every one of you know and other people don't know. And by cross-pollinating and come together, every single one of us under the Alfie Best Business Network, wherever you are around the world, because this is a global crisis, together we can become stronger, and like birds of a feather, we can flock together. So I'm going to end the broadcast now. Alfie's going to say goodbye, so as we're live on air, and then Alfie will talk to the members. So it's goodbye from me, Facebook and social media, and goodbye from him.
Goodbye from me. Thank you.